Hello everybody, Hassan here, engineer, MBA, and ultimately an investor. In today's video, I want to talk about the differences between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. And before we do that, guys, please like this video, hit that like button, smash it, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want our videos to get to you faster. I've been getting great feedback from many of you, so it would be very appreciated that you guys subscribe and like our videos. It really does help the channel and ultimately the community. Don't forget, guys, the mission of this channel is to really democratize information for free so that we can all have the same levels of opportunities in this competitive space. So guys, in today's video, I wanted to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. Okay, and the reason why I wanted to do this is because recently there has been a significant increase in terms of valuation for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and other cryptocurrencies. And I think it is definitely valuable to have a video dedicated to these three cryptocurrencies, compare them, and maybe give my thoughts on how I view some of these, and maybe give an insight as to how newer investors should look at this space and how they should maybe approach this space. Full disclosure though, in 2017, I've invested in some of these cryptocurrencies. So just be aware that I have bought some of these and I've held on. I've made a previous video where I talked about a story where I bought Bitcoin in 2017 as it was rising to its peak, and I'm sure some of you know, but if you look at the price chart of Bitcoin in 2018, 2019, Bitcoin was down, I think, for like 60, 70, up to 80%, I think something ridiculous like that from its peak. So that was definitely demoralizing, but that was just a story as to how holding to your Bitcoin and in your investments that you build conviction for is definitely necessary. I think you definitely have to do that. Every investor goes through this phase where they research, they build conviction in a company or in an asset such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on. And usually there's a correction or even a market crash, and that builds extreme amount of stress. It really puts things in perspective, and that's the difference between successful and being not successful, guys. It's building that conviction and sticking on to it no matter what, or looking for that short-term exit and basically selling at a loss. And then I talked about this, this is reinforcing the negativities, right? If you sell, if things go south and you still believe in the company or in the asset, well, regardless what it is, right? Real estate, gold, Bitcoin, doesn't matter what it is, right? If you sell, it reinforces that negativity where you basically have told yourself that, hey, if things go south, if things don't go well with my investment, I'm gonna look for the exit and I'm just gonna go for that short-term gain and that short-term dopamine that I can obtain. And this is a very bad thing, guys. In this space, this again, we don't provide financial advice to anyone. I always tell you guys have to do your own research. But for our channel, for our community, for what we preach, we're all about that long-term horizon, right? In genomics, the same story applies, right? These are not companies that you invest and you'll see a gain in 2 or 3 months. We're looking at years, guys. So the same thing applies in cryptocurrencies. This space is still fairly new, okay? In 2009, a person or a group called Satoshi Nakamoto, they basically released a white paper on Bitcoin, and basically the whole thing started around there then. And obviously Ethereum, Dogecoin, Litecoin, other cryptocurrencies came about, and so there's a whole history about it. I don't want to go in depth with that history in this video. That definitely wasn't the purpose of this video. But if you're interested, guys, there's many resources on YouTube, many resources on Google. Just look for it for yourself. So what I want to go in this video really is I want to compare the key differences between the three cryptocurrencies here that we're looking at: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin. Everyone knows about Bitcoin. I think this is basically, the big player in this space. It is definitely the most valuable one. It's the most talked to one. It's the most I would say it's the most exposed to many celebrities, many people that are big players in our economy, such as Elon Musk. Obviously, everyone knows him. Mark Cuban. There's other players too. There's many governments officials also involved with Bitcoin and understanding that space. For example, the senator from Wyoming in U.S., Senator Cynthia, she is definitely a big proponent of Bitcoin. You have government officials such as the mayor of Miami City, Mayor Francis. He is definitely a big supporter of Bitcoin and just crypto in general. So you have many players, guys, they're entering in this space. This all really unfolded in the last 2-3 years. Everyone knew about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies by 2017, and not everyone, but most people that are aware of technology and that read the media news, people started hearing about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and such technologies. But it looks like after 2017, obviously because of the crash at the time, it really pushed away many investors. It pushed away many people into understanding the space because it looks bad, right? You have this technology everyone is preaching about, and then the valuation just drops, adoption rate, people, this is another topic for another day, but media started attacking Bitcoin and Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies, saying it's a scam, it's whatnot. And in this channel, guys, we want to debunk that, right? We want to debunk those myths. I can tell you for a fact that Bitcoin is not a scam. It is a revolutionary technology, and it is being adopted by worldwide by many officials, many celebrities, and many people with a vast amount of investments in different areas, in not just technologies, but different assets, different companies, different industries. So this is definitely taking attention of many people. So let's talk about what is Bitcoin really, what is Ethereum, what is Dogecoin, okay? And this table, I really like this table because it really lays down here the symbol. Obviously nothing special here. You can see 2009 Bitcoin, Ethereum 2015, right? And 2013 Dogecoin, right? What is the initial purpose, right? And for Bitcoin, it was really for currency or store of value. So basically, you trade your fiat currency. When we mean fiat money, we mean like your USD dollar, your Canadian dollar, your euros and so on. We trade that for Bitcoin, and then basically with Bitcoin, you can either store it or you can trade from peer to peer, meaning peer to peer, where you can trade Bitcoin and basically have this type of digital currency. Ethereum was slightly different, guys. The thesis of Ethereum, so basically when the founder, Vitalik, he's a Canadian, he's very young actually, he's like mid 20s, very young. So he basically founded Ethereum like when he was like 18 years old. So he's a genius. He has a blog open, he's all over social media. If you guys want to look into it, Vitalik from Ethereum. But he basically founded this technology, Ethereum, and his thesis was like, look, we won't do what Bitcoin is doing. We won't create a cryptocurrency that's going to act as a currency or store value. However, what we will do is we will create an infrastructure where many groups, many organizations, many companies can build apps on our infrastructure, right? Think of the App Store, think of the internet. These are types of analogies you want to think about. You want to build this platform where you have this cryptocurrency, Ethereum, that's really driving that platform, and you have many apps like DeFi apps. Now I'm using some keywords terms here. If you're curious, again, guys, Google that, those DeFi apps. What does DeFi apps mean? Google that, you'll get that information. But just know that this technology, Ethereum, was really founded upon the basis that it will be acting as an infrastructure. And then you have Dogecoin, guys. Dogecoin is a joke. Okay, let me just. This is a joke. Okay, this was started as a joke, and it still is somewhat a joke, right? It really got a lot of attention recently because Elon Musk started tweeting about it, and obviously we've seen many memes. But really, the developer that created Dogecoin, really, for him, it was a joke, right? He saw the cryptocurrency space in 2013. He saw how it was very serious, right? He had Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, other cryptocurrencies. It seemed very serious, and he wanted to lighten the mood. Say, you know what? let's develop a coin, Dogecoin, right? This is a joke, guys. Let's have fun. And it's sort of, transformed over the years to something less of a joke. But technically, it's still meant to be a joke, guys. It's still meant to be a meme coin, right? But I'm sure everyone has heard about it. But this cryptocurrency has had the greatest growth in the recent months. It's been pumped by many, many people. So just be aware of that, guys. When we talk about cryptocurrency, not all cryptocurrencies are supposed to be like serious and really have a specific purpose. Some of them are supposed to be just like for, meme purposes and jokes. So keep that in mind. Obviously, you see the market cap. I already told you guys this is subject to be changed. I wouldn't really want to talk about this here. What I do want to mention here, guys, is that the main difference here between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. Okay, in Bitcoin, the supply is limited. No matter what happens, there will only be 21 million Bitcoin ever existing. Okay, this is coded at the beginning in 2009 when this was brought to life, right? It was limited to 21 million. So that means that no matter what happens, no one can change this. It doesn't matter what happens, there will only be 21 million coins. In Ethereum, this is not the case, right? As you can see here, it says unlimited. What this means is that we have to look at it in the economics like 101 side of things, guys. Supply and demand. If your supply is limited and your demand increases, then by the nature of supply and demand, your asset or whatever you're looking at, your good, your service, your product will increase in value, right? Again, this is subjective. This is straight up speculation. You never know what can happen. We're literally assuming that if the demand of Bitcoin increases, and we know this for a fact that the supply is limited, then by nature you can assume and you can predict that the value of Bitcoin will only increase. You cannot say the same thing for Dogecoin. Okay, this is straight up unlimited. There's so many Dogecoin being mined as we speak today. I don't know the value per like hour or something like that, but there's so many Dogecoin being mined. But again, guys, what is the value of something, right? What is the value of a good? It's literally what you assign to it, right? It doesn't matter what you or me we think of Bitcoin or Dogecoin, Ethereum. The markets decide what is the value of whatever asset or whatever crypto we're looking at, right? Bitcoin has had a crazy run. So have Ethereum and Dogecoin. And it's not for random reasons, right? In 2020, we saw the worst pandemic in 100 years. And we saw how governments around the world tackled the situation. And although I think many of them have the best intentions for their communities and their people, because mainly they are elected by their people for most of those regions, we saw how much printing of money happened. This may be a topic for another video, but think of how what happens when your Canadian dollar or your USD gets printed. The value of the money you have actually decreases, right? It makes sense, right? Supply and demand. If you have one house, right, and it's only that specific house that exists on the street, then that house will be a different value as to if there were 10 of these houses on the same street, right? In theory, supply and demand, that one house would be much more expensive than if it was 10 of them, the same exact house on the same street, right? This is a very small example, but scale that with money, right? Scale that with fiat currency. If your government is always printing money, what happens is that the money you hold, your $100 you have in your account, actually decreases in value, right? Prices of goods increase because you have more money in circulation, right? You can't just print money infinitely. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, it's anything in life, right? Supply and demand. It comes back to that basic theory, supply and demand. And ever since the pandemic, things have changed for cryptocurrencies. Many newer generations have turned to different technologies, different assets to really store their value. Obviously, Bitcoin has had a crazy run up. This is really the main premise of Bitcoin, and many people expect that governments will keep printing money in the foreseeable future, um, because you got to put yourself in the shoes of authorities, right? They want to serve their population, and for them to serve their population, as businesses are shut down due to the pandemic, they have to lend out money, they have to lend out loans, and this doesn't just come out of taxes, right? This comes out of printing money. So this is a big topic, guys, and you really want to understand the dynamic around this. So yes, you can understand the crypto technology, the cryptocurrency technology. You can understand what I mean by blockchain and digital money, Bitcoin, and we talked about Ethereum being infrastructure, and even Dogecoin being a meme coin, right? And has a crazy run up in terms of valuation in terms of USD. But it's sort of a statement against traditional governments and traditional institutions where say, hey, if you guys are going to print this much money, if you guys are going to devalue the money that you guys we're working very hard, right? Many of us have worked very hard for hard-earned money. It just makes sense that these types of assets, and it's not just in cryptocurrencies, but since we're talking about cryptocurrencies, it just makes sense that these valuations just pump up, right? And this is something you guys want to think about when you're looking at this space. One last thing before I close this video out is between Bitcoin and Ethereum, you can see here, this is a roadmap that was published by Vitalik, the founder of Ethereum. And he basically, the idea of why I wanted to show you guys is not to look into the specifics of this roadmap. What is a software roadmap? It's basically what are the features they're working on, what are the upcoming features in the future for Ethereum in this case. And you can see the roadmap, guys. It's very diverse. There's so many features to be developed on the Ethereum crypto technology. So this is ongoing. It's very developer centric. You can see that there's a lot of changes happening and the space is growing in Ethereum. This does not apply with Bitcoin. Okay, this does not apply with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not meant to be developed to that extent. It's not meant to be an infrastructure where companies can just build their apps on and have this synergy, right? You can see here that Ethereum is just tackling a different portion, a different segment of the markets. Okay, so you want to keep that in mind, and I'm not trying to turn this into a Bitcoin versus Ethereum. This is not the purpose of this video. It's just to present to you guys the information we have on hand. A lot of information has been spread out on social media platforms, and I want you guys to be informed, and it's extremely important for you guys to be aware of the differences, the similarities, and understand the dynamic of the economy around it. So, and I do want to end that Dogecoin is definitely a meme coin, but it's getting a lot of traction. There's people like Elon Musk that are big supporters of Dogecoin. So it is definitely a thing. It's definitely a technology out there, and there's other cryptocurrencies that we did not cover in this video, like Litecoin and so on, that exist, and they all serve specific purposes. But just know that this space is vast. It is growing. We didn't even talk about NFTs. So this is another facet of this technologies. So let me end this video by saying, if you're looking into getting into this space, guys, you cannot have you cannot have a soft stomach. Okay, these types of assets will not just correct in terms of valuation, but I suspect they will also crash heavily. Okay, and you don't want to be the guy that buys at a peak and then just sells at a low at enormous losses. It's extremely demoralizing. It's extremely hard to stomach those losses, guys. We all, like I said, we all work very hard for our money. It will be a shame that you guys work so hard and then you start looking into these cryptocurrencies and you start investing in different weird cryptocurrencies and you just get a negative experience from that, and you'll never look at this space the same ever again. So be careful when you look into this. If you're new, guys, research, Google the information you need, watch videos on YouTube and other platforms, try to interact with people that are aware of the space. Don't get that FOMO feeling. Don't get that feeling where you have to jump into it ASAP. Take your time, be patient. There's corrections that will happen. No one can define specifically what the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin should be. No one should actually tell you where you should put your money into. It all depends on you. You're the investor. You should do your own research. Take your time. This is what I really want you guys to take away from this video. I talked about the differences. You saw how Ethereum is very developer focused and Bitcoin is more like store of value. We talked about the general macroeconomics situation with governments printing money. We also talked about how Dogecoin is a meme coin, although it's had enormous support. Um, so try to do your own research, guys. Try to be aware of what's going on in this space. Take your time. There's absolutely no rush for you to jump into this. Like I said, in 2017, it was jumping to its peak. It crashed for 2018, 19, for over 2 years, guys. It was down. It was significantly down. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Expect something similar that can happen. So, guys, if you don't have the stomach to accept some of these enormous percentage crashes, don't get into it. Please do not get into it. Like I said, it'll just create that negative image. Um, but look, if you've done your research, if you obviously have the funds to look into it, and if you want to get your feet wet, I do believe cryptocurrencies is a great technology. Things are changing. We talked about NFTs, we talked about store of value, we talked about how different people, institutions, companies are really looking into leveraging this technology. There's also all the whole blockchain technology behind it. I do believe in the upcoming decade, this technology will have a space in our economy. We talked about cryptocurrencies, we talked about genomics, we talked about energy, we talked about robotaxi and self-driving cars. There's different technologies that will really shape in the upcoming decades, and we want to be the people that are in front of this technology, guys. You guys want to be there to capitalize those gains, and you want to be supporters of whatever you research and whatever you want to double down on. Again, it doesn't matter how the markets react. If you build conviction, if you hold on to it, there should be no reason for you to freak out. There should be no reason for you to stress out. So I'll leave you with this information, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I know this was a longer video than I suspected. Please like this video, guys. Please subscribe. It really does help the channel. If you guys think you can share this video to a friend, a family, or another investor, please do so. This is the mission of this channel, guys. We want to grow this community. We want to help you guys out. If you have any comments, leave a comment below. If you invest in any of these cryptocurrencies, you can leave a comment below. Let us know. Maybe we'll do a video to research it. So thank you very much, guys. We'll see each other in the next video, and see you. Thank you very much.